Okay, here we are. For those who don't watch The Bachelor, Shug has his review of each episode, and he has his twist on it. So let's check it out this week. Shug. So episode what is it? Episode five? Right now we're at
I think six.
five
I
or
think,
yeah, six, yeah.
and I think we're nearing the end because we're down to the final four. Like this episode actually, like to me, I swear, like at least like six women went home on this, whether it be like eliminated, whether it be or they just left. Like I think it was two that left, three got eliminated, and then the one was the new girl. So I'm gonna start off there. So Heather, like we said, she pulled up in a minivan, and I found out weird as shit because it's the Bachelor. Like, why did she need a whole minivan? But that was actually explained. So it starts off where the last episode ended, where she interrupted Piper and Matt's one on one, and she explained why she was there. I explained it a little bit last week that I guess Matt's really close with the former Bachelorette, Hannah. I think his best friend was on Hannah's season, or he won Hannah's season, Hannah Brown. And Hannah was friends with this girl Heather, but Heather was actually like a contestant on a prior season of The Bachelor, and Hannah basically told Heather about Matt and said like he'd be a perfect match. So Heather she explained that she took a red eye. Basically, well, I don't know if this is like reality. Uh,
Kayfabe.
yeah, that she basically like funded her trip there, and she took a red eye and she went to the rent a car place to get a car to drive up to the resort where they're staying, and basically like the last car that they had available was the minivan, so that's why she was driving a minivan. I don't like I didn't like her. I wasn't feeling her vibe. Like I said last week, she popped up. She ain't had no mask on and nothing, and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
that was odd to me. But I do respect that she made the first move because I always I like that in women. Like women rarely make the first move. So to like show initiative and say like, all right, like he could be he could possibly be the man I spend the rest of my life with. Let me do something about it. Like I respect that. She introduced herself to the girls and they were like really like snarky to her. Like it was like some like Mean Girl shit because they accused her of bachelor hopping because they said, "Oh, you lost that other season. Now you're trying to come in and win this season." Or like, it's kind of like, are you doing it because you actually like him, or you doing it to get your face out there? This is a fair question, and she didn't really get off to a good start because she interrupted Piper at match date. Like I kind of lie, like the girls that were there, like they were really like mean to her. Piper, she was like justified a bit in being mean because like she did interrupt her date, and it's at that point like he's basically, as I've said, like the amount of girls have whittled down so much that we're at like the finish line. So anytime that you get with him is very valuable. And she also didn't like acknowledge her because it's one thing to say like, talk to the girl and like be like that. She just walked in there and was just like, Matt, I need to talk to you. Like, do you mind if I talk to you for a second? Like, Piper wasn't even there. So that's why I say Piper was kind of justified in like, like standing up for herself. Serena C, she was mean because like after these girls like were attacking her verbally, Heather started to cry and tried to like explain like what she was trying to do. Like she was, basically saying like I'm not trying to like disrespect anybody here, and I'm not trying to like, you know, um ruffle feathers and stuff like that, and she's like crying, and then Serena C says, "Say it in your like testimonial. I don't want to hear you crying." And I was like, "Wow, like that's like really like catty." Like even for the even for that for this show, Matt ended up sending her packing because he was like, like at this point, like he already built connections with the girls that were there. So for her to come in at this point, he felt like it would be disrespectful to them. And he actually went out and apologized to the group and said, like he really was like blindsided by the whole thing, and he explained like he sent her home because he felt it was disrespectful to them, and he and it actually like got some of the girls even more like attracted to him. But Heather, man, like hopefully fate brings her to another really white black guy, if that's what she's looking for. Another white black guy like Matt. And he said there'll be no more new girls. He's dedicated to that group. Again, like I said, he apologized. And at that point of the episode, it was down to six girls. And then on a side note, like it had like a commercial because you Mike, you've seen the thing where they ask like, oh, if you interested
Yeah.
on being on a bachelor season or being a
Yeah.
bachelor or bachelorette, blah 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 blah, call this number. So
Yes.
apparently, I think I heard this before, but like this is like confirmed now because they were doing the same thing for this. Like they're about to have like a senior citizen type of
No.
like bachelor thing.
No.
Yeah. So
No. They do. Really?
yeah.
Oh my own.
So I said, they're about to have an old people bachelor. So you're about to see some Diane Keatons and you're about to
Ooh.
see some Diane Keatons and some Danny Glovers hooking up because they couldn't date black guys when they were younger because America.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see some Pornhub searches. Algorithms change. It'd be all about like older.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So the theme in this episode is like I said, this is the first time I watched The Bachelor. I've like watched the last season of The Bachelorette because ain't really like much was on, and I've popped in on like a couple episodes of The Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh
Um,
yeah. That's more like Big Brother. Yeah.
yeah, I watched like some of those. But I do know there's a point in the season where the Bachelor or Bachelorette has, their final group of suitors, so to speak, and they travel to where those people live and meet their parents or and their friends and stuff like that. It's called hometowns. So all these girls were like, yeah, like I really want Matt to meet my parents, da 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 da. So I'm thinking I can't wait for Matt to meet Rachel's parents.
Oh, okay.
Because they raise like a a racially insensitive girl who apparently had a moment of awakening when she became the front runner on the first season that there's like a non-white bachelor. He went on a date with Serena P where they did like tantric yoga. And she was kind of like
Mm.
being like a little prudish. She was like, "Oh, this isn't for me." Like blah 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 blah.
It works.
But what are you gonna do? You can't. You're not gonna send a girl home because like she's not putting out. So
I
the thing about that was like Matt did acknowledge to her that he felt impressed by her by the fact that she was like really like candid with him and letting him know that like the type of date wasn't
mm,
for her. And he was like he admired the fact that she told him what she was uncomfortable with, and he was like, like if you're gonna be married with somebody, you're gonna have uncomfortable conversations. So
mm.
that's why he said that. But you was gonna say something, Mike?
No, I agree with that. Like the last thing you're saying, like if a moment happens and it's like, whoa, like you are like overwhelmed.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm not sexist, but if you're overwhelmed by a woman doing crazy shit, either it's zero where she's deprived, she never had anything, or the opposite. And so like that's what I always did. I was like, if that makes sense.
All the girls that are left, they're like fine, like they're attractive. So I wouldn't be mad, stuck with any of those girls. So I'm just based off of looks alone, and I'm not trying to be, misogynistic or whatever, whatever. I'm just saying I gotta go off looks because the girl I liked, personality wise, got sent home last week. So I have to go off looks now because like all of them like really, they seem like really like boring to me, like, and that's something with me too. Like, I like not only like do you have like for me to be interested in somebody, it's like I gotta be attracted to you, but like if you're boring and shit, like I can't make it work. Like, you know.
I totally get it. Like if I went on a show and a
Hmm.
girl went on a show, I'm like, me and you are gonna go fucking buck wild. We're gonna go crazy. Like, I would love like a crazy chick like that. Like, oh yeah, and then eventually when our like celebrity status settles down, then
Lord
we could
willing.
be yeah, yeah, but that's the whole point. But like you get someone who has no idea why they signed up for this, and then they go crazy, and then they're all like weird and stuff. And I think there's some. I think yeah. There's a few people from the reality shows I watch where like they're still together after 10 years because they want to be famous. But yeah,
Yeah,
but like
they
you get what
they
I'm saying.
I mean I didn't see it this week, but the first couple of episodes they had like a couple I think that it was like a bachelor winner and the Bachelor, and like they're still together. I forgot who it is, but they're still together, and they had commercials with them. But Bree, who we talked about before, like she told him like she had to resign from her job to be there. So this was before like the rose ceremony. So I was like, and like he's been sending girls home left and right, like
Mm.
after these one-on-one dates. So
Hmm.
I was like, yo, imagine he turns to her and so I was like, oh, like, I understand you made like this big like decision to be here and it cost you your job, but I don't think like I don't think I could see myself with you and like send her on a car and like on a car ride home. I'd imagine like when she like if she doesn't win, like whenever she leaves, she's like, "I fucking quit my job for you," and just like it'll be. I want to say it's funny because it'd be fucked up if she really had to resign from a job to be on the show.
It happened on my show. I like Big Brother. It happened. She slept with a man for months, and then there was the man who was in charge, and then he had to pick like two people. So he had to pick either the girl he was sleeping with for a month
Hmm.
or his buddy that no one else knew that they kayfabed that they were like hitting each other. And he goes, me and him have been like buddies the whole time. You're going home now. Goodbye."
Yeah,
And then he was sleeping with her. But
yeah,
this is a different. This is weird though because like Big Brother, you live in the same place and what's up. Bachelor is like you are committing to. This is why I'm here. It's kind of like it's
yeah.
way different.
And you bring up that word commitment, and like
Yes, that's the word.
even like 6 or 7 episodes and I'm sitting here and like when they're talking about like my relationship with Matt, like I'm dating Matt and stuff like that, like I'm still getting used to that jargon because I'm like
Sure.
like you're still here with like 6 other women. Like it's basically like polygamy because it's like you're here with 6 different women that are also dating Matt. Like,
That's why I never got into it because I started watching the show Sister Wives,
yeah.
and it's about it's a polygamous family, and I just can't get. That's not me. I mean, hey, I'm not knocking any Mormons or whatever, but that's not even part of the Mormon culture anymore. Like that's not even part of it anymore.
Hmm.
That's like it's a niche. It's a very small thing. So I'm just like, how like I'd be so jealous. Like I couldn't even do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like I think a couple of weeks ago, you asked me to like if I was on the show, and I'm like, well, I'm a jealous ass dude, so it's like, I mean, not jealous like relationship wise, but if I like a girl and I see somebody else like trying to get on her, like I do get jealous. So I don't know how I do that being on like a show with like 30 other guys and not feel some type of way. So it's interesting. So I don't know if I could be a Bachelorette contestant. I could be the Bachelor though. Like,
Yeah,
shout out, get
there
me
you
on
go.
a. You know, if we had like a bigger following, like I'd be like, yo, we could do like the Bachelor on here for.
I
We could
actually
do for the love of Sugi.
I put your name in the actual thing, but nothing.
I gotta
No,
hit the. I gotta hit the
I got
gym. I gotta
I
hit
got
the
no
gym. Cause I'm
I got
telling you
no.
right now, if Katie's really the next Bachelorette, and I think it was like confirmed. Cause that's how I got like her Instagram. Cause somebody else posted it on Instagram and it tagged her in it. I was like, "Yay, I can see Katie again!" Da, da, da. And I'm hyped because she's like, I found out like she's a cat person. Like, and I was like, I love cats.
I know that that came up because of Bachelor. I was like, "You like cats?" I'm like, "Okay, I like cats too. I like both. I like stray cats.
No, I like cats more
Not
than
not
I
not
like
not
dogs.
the band. I like
I'm
stray cats though.
I'm a cat person. I'm dog averse. Like I don't mind dogs. Like I'll play with like a puppy or like a dog, like pet them and stuff. But like if I had the choice, I like cats. Like they're cool as shit. But yeah, I was like, damn, like I was like, I'm in love. Like and I was watching this episode, and like I said, all of these girls like they have the personality of like a fucking plywood, and I'm just like, she actually had like a personality. Like she was fucking interesting. He actually sent my second favorite girl on there after Katie, Abigail, who was born with actually like a hearing impairment. So she actually wears an implant. So it's cool to see somebody with I don't want to say disability because that's not the
Impairment.
yeah, with an impairment. So it's not the way we're supposed to say things. So yeah, impairment. That should be the right term. But I'm not saying like he should have picked her because of that. But she also was like pretty like cool. Um, and he had a connection with her. Like she got the first rose on the show.
I
Um,
remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
so what kind of happened was she felt that between that first episode and this episode, whatever the time is in, that they're shooting, that like he he got to know like their relationship was strong in the beginning, but he got to know the other girls and she wanted to talk to him to find out like if their relationship suffered because they didn't spend time together and he got to know everybody else. And he basically confirmed that to her and he was like, yeah, it did. Like it's sad, like, he didn't want to like lead her on and he just, sent her home and he you could tell he was like in anguish. And she said something and it resonated me because I think we've all been here before because me and Mike we've talked about it in our personal life where she said, I feel I'm constantly the person that makes, well, in our case it would be women, but she says men, that makes men realize what they want next, but they never want that with me. So it's like
Yeah.
you ever felt that, you felt
Well, Chuck.
these things, we've had these things happen to us. Like you've been with somebody and it's like, oh, like you're great and you're this, you're wonderful, blah 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 blah. But like I don't see myself with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
so I like when she said that and like her like driving away and like crying, I was like, yeah, that sucks. Like I felt really like bad for her at
Mhm.
that moment. And then I think him and Rachel had a one-on-one date. And guess what, Mike? Finally had another black man on there. They had a black singer performing. So
Oh, I missed it.
where's the confetti? Where's my confetti cannons? There was another black person, another black man besides
Hey,
on the show.
who was it? What happened?
I have no idea who it was. I think I know who it is.
But Chris Harrison
not
is gonna be
sure.
gone. We're gonna have a black host next week. Hey, how you doing?
Possibly.
I'm
They haven't said.
I'm David Robinson. How you doing? Like, and everyone would forget it. I'm like, oh,
Like
good.
fucking San Antonio Spurs, David Robinson.
No, that was two random words. That was two random words. All right. Hey, no.
Look at Mike just generating black people names like it's fucking NBA 2K.
Well, that was a tweet this week, but we'll get
Like
into
you
that later.
remember like I always used to be a funny ass joke like NCAA football
Yeah.
because you know they couldn't use people's real names.
Yeah.
So they'll have like a really like white they'll have like a lily white player. Like his name would be like Terrell Blakely or some shit like that, or Terrell Robinson, and like it'd be like a white dude because they can't use real names. It's just auto generated.
Well, we're getting into that another time. That's funny though. But yeah, what else about Bachelor?
Yeah. And then Kit. Remember Kit? I think Kit was one of your favorites.
Oh, MJ and Kit. I like.
Yeah. Well, Kit left.
Yeah.
She went home. She decided to leave. She felt that it wasn't fair to her and it wasn't fair to Matt for her to stay there. So I think she phrased it as like, you know, I wouldn't want to. I think you have like, I think she said like she thought he had better connections with other girls, and she didn't want to waste her time or waste his time, and that's why she left. So I was another one like that. He painfully walked to the suburban SUV.
Whatever it is.
Him and Yesenia went on a date. So I think I was like the first time they went on a one-on-one date, and they talked and blah 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 blah, and he felt they didn't have a connection, and he sent her home. And like I said, you didn't really like anytime I seen like Yesenia, she was like sitting down or in some kind of like one of their little like daily like group date things, so you didn't really get to see her. But she was like wearing this dress, and it showed them walking in and out, and I was like, "Damn, you see, you got some yams." Like she had like an ass on her, and I realized like it was another going on from the shit I was talking about last week. Like I think it's another reason Matt. Not all skin folk is kinfolk. Like, because a real brother, like, seeing like the wagon on Yesenia, even if you ain't got no interest in her at all, you would have kept her around just for like that ass. Like, so he sent her home. And which was kind of a shock to me, he sent Piper home too. Piper didn't at the rose ceremony. Piper at the rose ceremony didn't get a rose, and she was the last person sent home for the night. So overall, like I said, it was like 6 people that
yeah, it was just like a
got their walk-in papers
and
got the pink slip.
You're out of it. And by the way, and you're out of it. Don't my little notes.
Yeah, it was it's crazy. It was like watching it was like Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble last year.
Oh,
remember when he just like threw out like the first 15 people?
Hey, but that was staged though. This is real.
Well,
this is real love.
How do you not know this was staged?
This is real, right?
Also, so the final four is Rachel, Serena P, Michelle, and Bree. And so now we talked about, everybody was like, oh, this was the interesting thing I thought about after the episode, because I was like, oh, so it's 3 three black girls and then one white girl.
Yeah.
But because we talked about the thing about him was the race thing, like he felt compelled to like pick a certain way, like he discussed that the first episode and stuff like that. And like black women and stuff like that are watching it, like if he doesn't pick a black woman, he feels like he's gonna disappoint them.
Mm.
So three of the four women that are left are black, but then they showed like the preview because the next episode is the hometown when they go and meet the parents and stuff like that, and like all like three of them are like biracial. So
There you go. There you go.
including Matt. So it's like,
That's great. That'd be
yeah. So they're all biracial, and then like Rachel, she's the one white girl, and she had this racist thing, controversy, and she's
oh yeah.
supposedly the favorite. So it's not gonna shock anyone if he picks her, but it's gonna be like, wow, like you still ended up picking a white girl, and
Mm.
so I'll be interested in the discourse
Yeah,
after
I
that.
think totally like as it's winding down, I could actually picture that where it's like, oh, I'm so tired of hearing about this, you know, whole thing about race and stuff. Let me just okay. Then he's with Rachel. He's just like, okay, let's just do this. Like because he's like tired of like the whole thing. Like
Hmm.
I feel like that would in someone's mind. I'm not projecting. I'm just saying. I could see that, but I'm excited to see the final of the show. I thought it was gonna go on till April. Remember, I was saying like, oh
Yeah.
wow, so many guys. I mean, so many girls. I mean, so yeah. So we're gonna get more in depth. We should get more in depth with it because the way you describe it, it's like wow, yeah, this is like okay, this is good. This is I like this.
Yeah. So it seems like it's winding down. So we'll see how many more episodes is left, and then we'll probably just wrap it all up in the when it's all over, and then see where things go from there.